The cost of living in the United States has risen dramatically in recent decades. Middle-class Americans, in particular, have been hard hit by stagnant wages, rising daily expenses, and soaring healthcare and education costs, putting a strain on their wallets. Many services that were once available to the middle class are now out of reach for our population, and many things that used to make our lives easier and more enjoyable are now out of reach. Here are 15 things that are getting more expensive for middle-income people. 1. Purchasing real estate in exclusive neighborhoods. Believe it or not, suburbs had their fair share of exclusivity once upon a time. Living in the suburbs was associated with middle-class status because it put families near good schools, parks, shopping malls, and upscale restaurants. In 2010, the average price of a suburban home was only $164,000. At the moment, to live in the suburbs, you will need to pay at least $385,000. The suburban decline, on the other hand, is a genuine crisis. These areas have seen a noticeable decline in recent years as a result of rising poverty, deterioration, inequality, and criminality. Today's middle-class Americans can barely afford a simple two-bedroom home, and many can't even afford rent. Real estate in exclusive neighborhoods is too expensive for middle-class workers. The median home price in places like Palm Beach, Florida, and Aspen, Colorado is more than $3 million. Needless to say, the vast majority of middle-class Americans will never be able to live in these neighborhoods. 2. Sending their children to private schools and universities. Today, public schools and universities are not synonymous with a good education. Even when the UK school system was in better shape, it was not uncommon for middle-class families to send their children to private schools in order for them to attend better programs and have a better chance of admission to a prestigious university. However, the rising cost of education in America makes it nearly impossible for parents to provide for their children. Tuition and fees for public elementary and secondary schools averaged $13,187 in 2022, according to data from the National Center for Education. Meanwhile, the average tuition and fees at a public four-year college or university for in-state students was $10,560. Out-of-state students paid an average of $27,020. According to data from the College Board, the average cost of tuition and fees for a private elementary school in the United States was $21,342. In terms of private universities, the average cost of tuition and fees for the academic year was $37,650. 3. Hire household staff. Although having full-time household staff is probably something only wealthy families can afford on special occasions, such as parents going to the movies or families throwing house parties, middle-class Americans would hire babysitters or housekeepers on occasion so that they could enjoy their family time without being overwhelmed by household chores. However, as time passed, these services became far too expensive for this demographic, owing primarily to stagnant wages. According to Care.com data, in 2022, the average cost of a full-time nanny in the United States was $16.50 per hour. In addition, the average hourly wage for a full-time housekeeper was $18.50. Both at the same time, a middle-income worker earns $23 per hour on average. In a few states, this amount has the potential to rise to $28.42. However, costs for housing, energy, food, petrol, and pretty much everything else we consume on a daily basis continue to rise. They don't have much left over after paying their bills each month to spend on the little things that make their lives a little easier. 4. Private healthcare. The cost of a good healthcare plan has risen dramatically over the last 2 decades in private healthcare. On the other hand, the quality of healthcare services has significantly deteriorated since then. Even the cheapest healthcare insurance plans are prohibitively expensive for middle-class households, and they exclude many treatments, procedures, and other things you may require to maintain your health. According to an eHealth report, the average annual cost of health insurance in the United States was $12,900 last year. That is more than 15% of the annual salary of someone earning $80,000 per year. It's no surprise that Americans are experiencing an increasing number of health issues year after year. 5. Investing. Investing is necessary to build wealth, save for retirement, pay off your mortgage, and live a comfortable life. Unfortunately, many middle-class families today do not have the opportunity to invest because they are overburdened with daily expenses. These families have a limited amount of disposable income. Furthermore, many investment options, such as mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and managed accounts, charge fees that can be relatively high, especially for small investors. These fees can add up over time and reduce returns on investment. Additionally, hiring financial advisors to explain how markets work and which investment strategies would fit within your budget can be costly, and the investment opportunities with the highest potential for large returns are typically reserved for wealthy individuals with low investment requirements. In other words, opportunities for middle-income earners to increase their earnings are extremely limited. 6. Lawn care services. Do you recall our parents and grandparents giving us a few dollars to mow the lawn? If 2000's days return, middle-class families will spend about $20 on gardening and lawn care services. In 2023, homeowners, on the other hand, pay around $150 per visit. Mowing, edging, and trimming, as well as debris removal, basic fertilization, and weed control, are all part of the service. Almost a century ago, extra services like aeration, seeding, and pest control were extra charges. Having a garden saved our forefathers during the Great Depression, but it has since become a luxury for the vast majority of us, not only because of the cost of upkeep, but also due to our lack of time to care for it. 7. Going to the gym. Regular exercise, such as going to the gym, can help improve overall physical health by lowering the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. It is beneficial to your mental health and improves your overall quality of life. The price of a gym membership varies greatly depending on the type of gym and its location. However, over the last 5 years, the average cost of a gym membership in the United States has risen. In major cities such as New York, where prices range from $70 to $249, the sum can easily exceed $1,000. Some gyms charge extra for services like personal training groups, fitness classes, or towel service. Furthermore, if you live in an area where gyms are not easily accessible, you may need transportation to the gym, and all of these cars can pile up on top of each other, increasing the cost of going to the gym. 8. Technology and new gadgets. After the global semiconductor shortage emerged during the pandemic, purchasing the latest technology and gadgets such as smartphones, laptops, and electronic devices is no longer an option for middle-class Americans. Electronics prices in the United States increased by an average of 28%. Some products have more than doubled in price, while others are no longer available in stores. According to a survey conducted by the Consumer Technology Association in 2022, last year, the average American household spent $1,380 on technology and services. This represents a 31% increase over 2018 levels. Even Black Friday sales were enough to boost electronics retail sales. Last year, discounted prices remained prohibitively expensive for many families. As a result, electronic sales fell by 1% in the fourth quarter of 2022. 9. Private security. With crime rates in America on the rise, investing in surveillance equipment can help you keep your home and family safe. However, the costs can be prohibitively expensive for some families. A security camera system, for example, starts at $500, while a video doorbell costs an average of $229. As a result, many middle-class families do not invest in their own safety, leaving them vulnerable to the predators who roam our streets. 10. Legal services. Legal services, legal fees, and court costs have all risen significantly in recent years, making it more difficult for the middle class to obtain legal representation and protect their rights. The average attorney hourly rate in 2022, according to the Clio 2022 Legal Trends Report, was $313. A divorce in America costs an astounding $12,900 on average. You will have to pay at least $3,000 in court fees if your landlord files for eviction. In some ways, this means that middle-class families have a much lower chance of being protected by the law if they need it. 11. Tax preparation services. No one teaches us how to do our taxes. However, if we make any mistakes along the way, we could face serious legal consequences. Meanwhile, the cost of professional tax preparation services has steadily increased. The National Society of Accountants found that the average cost of professional tax preparation services for an individual tax return in 2022 was $273. Filing a tax return at the end of the year allows individuals to reconcile their actual tax liability with the amount already paid, as well as claim any deductions or credits to which they are entitled. However, without professional guidance, many Americans are unaware of their rights, making it more difficult for the middle class to save money and avoid legal problems. 12. Banking and financial services. The rising cost of banking, investment, and financial services fees has made it more difficult for the middle class to manage their finances and save for the future. There are several reasons why the cost of banking for the middle class has risen in recent years. One of them is the increase in bank fees for various services. Many banks, for example, now charge fees for using ATMs, fees for maintaining a checking account, and fees for wire transfers. Another factor is the decline in interest rates on savings accounts. Many banks now offer extremely low or even zero interest rates, implying that consumers earn very little interest on their savings. Furthermore, many middle-class consumers are struggling with mounting debt, including credit card and student loan debt, which can impair their ability to keep a positive balance in a checking account and result in additional fees and charges. 13. Eating healthy. Purchasing organic foods, eating healthy, and consuming organic foods can all benefit our bodies greatly. Because these products have higher levels of nutrients and antioxidants, they can help boost the immune system and lower the risk of chronic diseases like cancer and heart disease. Organic produce, on the other hand, is typically more expensive than conventionally grown produce. According to some studies, organic produce can cost up to 50% more than conventional produce. According to Pew Research Center data, more than 47% of middle-class Americans are struggling to keep up with rising conventional food prices. Purchasing pesticide and chemical-free foods is becoming increasingly difficult for our average worker. 14. Marriage. Marriage before the age of 30. Many middle-class bachelors may have to postpone their wedding plans if they come from a middle-class family. Marriage at a young age is a luxury. Many of these people cannot afford to postpone their marriage until they have achieved a certain level of financial stability. Even those who marry before the age of 28 require substantial financial support from their parents, and some haven't even left home. According to the Knot survey, the average cost of a wedding in the United States in 2022 will be $33,900, increased from $29,200 in 2021. This is a 16% increase in just 12 months. In some cases, renting a wedding venue alone can cost more than $10,000, and catering and other services can add thousands of dollars to the total cost. Meanwhile, job opportunities in America for those aged 25 to 35 are insufficient to cover basic necessities and pay off debt, let alone for marriage. This new generation does not have the same opportunities as their parents and grandparents to marry young. As a result, the family institution is gradually fading in the United States. 15. Hobbies. Unfortunately, when everything else in your life becomes prohibitively expensive, you begin to give up on the things you do to enjoy life. Middle-class families are struggling to find time and money for their hobbies. We are frequently trapped at work for extended periods of time. Sometimes we don't have enough time to devote to the things we enjoy doing, such as sports, art, learning new languages, shopping, cooking, embroidering, and photographing. In the not-too-distant past, the middle class was a way of life that allowed people to have memorable moments and sit back and relax. Today, we work harder for less money and have little fun as middle-class people. Americans are turning gray as we lose access to the things that allow us to live fully and comfortably. Our burdens are increasing, and our standard of living is deteriorating. That is how a broken society appears. We are the ones who keep this country running, and we certainly deserve better treatment.